get a whiff of that corporate culture.
My biggest piece of advice is don't stop experimenting, no matter what your age is.
Get some experience under the belt. You would learn a lot of professionalism, you'd learn a lot about the culture, you'd learn a lot about where your industry is at.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the next episode of Gal Pals Unplugged. I'm Arya.
And I'm Sanchita.
And this is a space where we talk about drama, but we're in our late 20s, so we pretend it's mature.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be talking about careers, financial independence, and how those two are intertwined.
Yeah, I think we're discussing what do we really do in our lives and how we got here. What's your career trajectory been like?
So for me, it was always laid out for me that you're going to do engineering. I didn't have much of a choice growing up. I always knew that, okay, I will be doing engineering at some point in time. I didn't ever get into the specifics of like what engineering I wanted to pursue, but I just I just went to a bunch of people and I was like, what's the most easiest engineering, whatever you can do? And they're like, yeah, you can do IT. So I was like, okay, great, I'll do IT.
Yeah.
So that's how I started with my engineering journey. And I hated it in the first year. I absolutely
it was a journey.
Yeah, because you had everything. Like you had to study all subjects.
Yeah.
And the teachers were just not our vibe.
Yeah.
Because we were also in the same college.
Yeah.
And we were kind of like figuring out our way in an all-girls college, because that was not how we were, what our setting was previously. And then eventually I think I started to like it over a period of time, but not fully. Even in second year, I had this professor who was really bad, and we've had our fair share of like bad professors. But I think in third year and fourth year, I started enjoying it, and I did my master's in IT as well, and I truly identified my niche in IT, which is why I think I'm still here, because now I enjoy it. I like it, and I see myself even studying further in IT.
Do you want to tell people what your niche is?
Yes. So in my third year of engineering, I really started enjoying databases. So I decided to do my
DB management.
DB management. I decided to do my master's in that as well. A little bit of management, like IT management and business analysis, data analysis, information systems, database management systems, all of that. So I fully chose my concentration in databases, and then I pursued that. And then I began my whole industry experience after that.
Because I'm an engineer too, and I definitely know what you're speaking about. But for someone maybe who's listening to this and does not know what exactly DB management is, could you tell them and explain it like a 5-year-old?
Yeah. So basically, databases is everything. Look at it like a table. And then there's a bunch of data that's structured or unstructured, like just kept haphazardly in systems, in companies. And we interact with that data to come up with meaningful insights and analysis that can be provided to stakeholders who have no idea of how data is recorded in companies. And then we come up with insights and forecasts and predictions and algorithms and all of that to basically increase efficiency, increase revenue, give back time, make things automated, all of that.
Lovely. So that was a 10-year-old would understand that. I would not go with a 5-year-old, but yeah, great. So for me, honestly, I also started with engineering. I remember I have a fun story about this, because my dad was fully sold on Cummins. Like he's like, no matter what, you're gonna study in Cummins. And I met you and your mom in MIT, and she had fully gone to MIT to get the admission, and I'm like, yeah, great, like have fun, but I'm gonna be in Cummins. The next day I was like, me pan Cummins na aata. And I'm like, okay, great. But so basically we studied engineering in Cummins. I was also asking around, and they said IT is the easiest engineering. So I told my father, Dad, I want to do IT, because the truth of it is I didn't have a strong enough passion back in the day to even fight him saying that do engineering, it's a solid career. So I was like, fair. And if I don't know what my calling is, I might as well have a strong degree under my belt. So that's when I'm like, okay, great, I'm gonna do engineering. And I told him strictly the same thing, I want to do IT. He's gone and directly taken admission in com science. So everyone knows this, I think, that IT is just software. We learn a bit of hardware. And going ahead, that journey was very difficult. I did not enjoy engineering at all, but also because our field, or basically the comp science stream in Cummins, is super difficult. For one reason, because Cummins comp science gets the most placements in, I think, India. They get like mad companies coming to them in third year. So the teachers were that strict, and even the classes were bigger, because I think we were 220 people. We had 2 shifts and all. Actually, I loved first year, the whole mech, civil and all. I loved it. Second year was very tough, which is the toughest year in comp science. But obviously I decided I'm not gonna like not do engineering in 4 years. So by third year, I got it under control, but fully realizing it's not what I want to do. And we used to have these practicals, which were 2 hours every day, which is where after my say coding is done, we had like an hour, and we used to do like time pass on our systems. Is when I was just like Googling things, ki, okay, what can I do in fashion, this and that. And my thing was very clear that I want to do something in the fashion industry, but I don't want to be in the front. I don't want to design. I don't want to be a model. I want to be at the back managing things. Like, so then luckily, a friend of mine said, oh, do you know there's this girl who did comp science engineering, and she switched her field to brand management sort of. And that clicked. And I didn't even know it was called brand management. But I had like researched enough courses in France and Italy and all that. And fast forward to, I spoke to the girl. I wanted to get into fashion business. And she's like, why do you want to do fashion business and keep yourself only attached to the fashion industry? You can do LBM, which is luxury brand management, where you can do all fields, which is like watches, wines, clothes, everything under the sun. And I'm like, okay, sounds smarter if I have to settle back in India. So that's where I made like a big career switch from engineering to like brand management. I was in Milan, I studied luxury brand management, and my whole career is based off that 1 year of masters that I've done.
I think one advice, unsolicited advice, opinion, whatever you call it, I'd give is that choose your colleges very carefully. Do your research before you enroll for any course, because I think the professors will have a big impact on what you decide to do going forward. Because even though we had similar subjects that we studied,
DB and all that,
I fully enjoyed the experience because my professors were really nice. Like second year,
were really good.
I still am in touch with them. I regularly like meet them, check up on them, or whatever, call them. But I believe that was not the case for you, because we've often spoken about how tough comp science was for you, exhausting it was for you because of how the professors were.
Another unsolicited piece of advice from me would be, make sure, if you can, do as much applications and everything by yourself. We've had a very bad experience with career counselors. We've kind of been scammed a little, and then we both ended up doing our own applications. So it's tough. You have to run around a lot, but 100% I would still recommend, no matter with how many great reviews they have. If you can do your own application, do it. And the best thing I think is to talk to seniors or pass outs, and you can just reach out to people on LinkedIn, Insta, whatever, and figure it out.
Give us the scoop on your master's degree.
So after engineering, basically in the 4th year of engineering, you have an option where you can interview for companies that come to your colleges. And I thought I'll just pursue my master's now and get the whole education thing out of the way, and then begin on my industry experience segment of things. So I never ended up giving those interviews, and I decided to fully apply, get into a university, all of that. And I decided, okay, I'll do US because it's a great place to be in terms of IT, which has always been the case. So that's what I did. And initially, I thought I will come back after 2 years of my master's. Like, I'll get my degree and I'll come back. And my parents though were fully like, she's probably not gonna even stay for 2 years because I've been home all this while, like living with my parents, and then they were like, okay, most probably we have to be prepared. She'll come back in a couple of months. But I was like, no, now that I'm here, I'll do my masters for 2 years and then I'll move back to India. But I actually ended up staying because I really enjoyed the work culture, because once I went there, in about 6 months, I started with my internship, and I liked how much trust was shown, how much space was given to explore whatever you wanted to do. I fully stayed back for 4 years, and I decided to be there for a while before I made that switch of going back home.
Yeah, you were there quite some time. 6 years. I don't think we've covered it.
Let's go again.
Let's go again. 6 years of long distance that I have stayed without her. For me, actually, I was almost ready to go down the same road. We gave our GREs and all of that to get into masters. Even I was looking at business analytics and all of that.
We gave our GRE together.
Yeah, we did. So I was fully prepping because I was like, okay, now that I've invested 4 years, let's do a little more. And I don't think I had the guts in me to fully change and get into a career that I've never seen anybody get into. Fast forward to the last practical exam that we have, which is like your make or break. If you can't code the last practical, you're flunking. Where I had like a major cold feet. I'd given my GRE, the scores had come back, but then I went home and I'm like, Dad, I can't do this. And his only thing was just make sure you're in, like, do your engineering and have a strong degree under your belt. And he's like, okay, tell me what you want to do, but tell me exactly where, what, all that. And I'm like, okay, fair. Then I obviously had the 2 years of research from my 3rd year, 4th year about this back end of fashion business, luxury brand management. I took all of that, gave my IELTS, and I think they had their own, like Domus had their own exam. I gave that the interview. It all went through. I mostly applied to schools in France and Milan because I think nobody in the world does luxury brand management better than the Europeans do. And that's how I got in. And I was there for a year and a half. I did a year of my master's and about 4 months of my internship, which was gonna convert into a job. But I came back because I was dating Anuj. Feminism does not take a hit here. And also I think another angle on that for me was, if I anyway have to settle back home, might as well start that journey sooner and sort of experiment, understand my industry, because I didn't know anything in India about my industry. Even today, my contacts in this industry are mostly people who I studied with. So another angle was that get back in India, start that ladder and sort of understand where I am placed, how I can build a career here.
But so tell me something. For me, US is comparatively established in terms of, okay, you speak the language, or you have a ton of resources. Every other person is in US doing their masters in specifically in IT. So you have a very guided navigation. How is that in Italy?
Honestly, that was very difficult because most importantly, it was a language barrier. And they do not speak the language. I knew Italian, but I still know like बहुत basic Italian, which will just get me by. But I had insane language barrier issues. The lifestyle obviously is different, but that lifestyle I loved. Like, it was a great thing. But what made the whole thing easier was living with Cecilia, because she is an Italian. So that was the best decision I made. I was thinking living with an Indian is easier. But then, I don't know, something clicked and Cess reached out to me and I'm like, okay, she seems really nice. So let's just live with her. So she made it easier. But safety-wise, it was very different. Even like things in Europe, everyone knows, it shuts at 6. So that's a big shift. Honestly, back then, I think you're even a little more bold in that age. So I was very determined to make that work.
Homecoming, easy transition or total plot twist?
I actually had multiple movings in between the US as well, because I was in Baltimore for 2 years, then I was in Miami for 3 years, and then I was in the Bay Area for 2 years, 1.5 years.
Wanderlust.
So my moving back was not a one-way door. Like, when I moved back, I was still fully working remotely with Microsoft for a couple of months.
Flexing.
Then I decided
She's
to
flexing. I am gonna say that. Hello, this is like a closest friend of mine who's been working in Microsoft and Amazon.
Okay. Anyway. So I did that, and it got to a point where it was not sustainable for me to work like odd hours. So then I decided to, after staying here for quite some time, I was like, okay, now I'm fully moving back to India. So that was a very gradual process for me, and everything in the back end in US was still active, like my work visa, all of that. And I have this question that comes across my way so many times. Okay, you had your work visa sorted, then why did you move back? And the whole theory behind both of us moving back was because our hearts lied here.
But do you think at any chance, somewhere at the bottom of your heart, obviously a lot of this has to do with the people in your life. We both are very like centered in our families and our friends and all that, which is why people have been a big part of our decisions. But do you think, because back then you weren't with Lalit, do you think love or just finding love was anyway like in the decision making?
Yes, I would be now. I think even like Guriga, or even if I have to go somewhere with Lalit, I'll be like, okay, fine, that works for me because my heart is with him.
For me, obviously the truth is I've moved back a while ago, so I've been settled here. But my, like you said, real moving back has also happened like now that I'm trying to be a little more rooted in Pune, because the minute I moved back in 2020, I think, no, 2019 end or some time around, the minute I moved back, in a month I had locked a job in 2 months I'd locked a job in Mumbai. And I think it had a lot to do with seeking validation for what I'd studied, because I just wanted to know where I stand, where I have an idea of what the Indian form of this industry looks like, and that is in Bombay.
And it's full potential.
It's full potential, and that's the highest potential in India. Once that happened and I found my first job, it was like really like in a very small agency, but I was like, great, I have one step in the door, and that's all I needed. And right now, after lockdown, I fully moved back. Even my work has been remote. Thank the Lord, I would not say that, but that's the one small good part of COVID that happened, is we realized our industry can be, even yours actually, can be super work from home. It's efficient and all of that. So my move right now feels a little like it's just begun, because now I'm finally in Pune. I'm trying to set up something here.
Also, I think our careers have been validating in a sense that they give us stability that we require, because we're often people who don't give ourselves the credit of taking a break.
This is like a theory. It's a reward-based system that we both have ingrained in us, which is even today, like if I have to do something fun, I have to build up to it. Like, okay, I'll go for that vacation, but till then I'll do this, and then that vacation will be fun. When actually that, like, there's no need to put that sort of a pressure.
Yes. It's something that's just inbuilt to us at a really young age, that you're not going to get credit for existing.
मेरे को अच्छा नहीं लगता, मेरा खून खौल उठता है.
You are going to get credit, you're going to get whatever like rewards for working your ass up there.
Describe your first job.
Like I said, my first job was like a very small agency, and I have like an advice for people: switch as fast as you can. There is no such thing as, oh, you have to look like you can keep a job and all bullshit. You can definitely switch. If you go to any HR and tell them, वहाँ मज़ा नहीं आ रहा था, वो boring था, they are gonna be more than happy. They're gonna be like, oh, come, we'll give you a lot of work on this in this company. It's not gonna be boring. So I did that. I think I was out of that job in 3 months. I'm like, this is not even like helping me. It was just paying my rent. But at that point, money wasn't the objective. It was about the experience. And fast forward to now, where I work in VML, which is VML Y&R. It's a advertising agency. So a little bit more about VML. It's a bigger parent company called WPP, which basically owns or sort of is the main parent of Ogilvy, Hogarth, the VML. We all work in the same building in Mumbai. But to get here, definitely switch up your job.
I will 100% agree to what you said, because I also changed my job every 2 years. My first job also started in 2019. Out of like once I graduated, and I really enjoyed that little sense of financial independence that I got. Because I was also living alone, of course. But I really liked whatever stability it got me, that job. So I think I'll always hold that experience very close to my heart. And now I'm working in a company called Avalara. I think I'll have flavors of different problems.
Yeah.
Each area, everywhere you go, you're gonna face some issues. It's just your pick as to what issues you want to fight in your career.
Time to bust some myths.
I am too late to change my career path.
No, not really.
Taking a break is a sign of weakness.
No, already covered, and definitely not a sign of weakness.
I take it sometimes. We personally still take it. We battle telling ourselves that it's not, but it's not.
I need to have everything figured out by 25.
No. You can figure it out later.
Everyone else has it figured out.
Absolutely not.
We've spoken to quite a few people about their careers, and it's not how it looks. So no.
I can't succeed because of my background.
On the contrary, we've seen so many inspiring stories that come from not so like affluent backgrounds and make it so big in life. So
no, definitely not.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
tuning into this episode of Galbaz Unplugged.
We've really gotten into the nitty-gritties of our career, and of course it worked out for us, but if it does help you in any way, great. Reach out to us if you have any sort of questions. We're more than happy to help.
So thank you so much. We hope you like, comment, share, subscribe, do all of that good stuff.
It does keep us motivated, and thank you.
Bye.
Shot 5, take 2.
1, 2, 3. So Aru was slightly competitive, and I think
you have said 3 times. Once you've established.
Okay.
जोर से बोल के लोगों को स्कीमें बता दे.
6.
That was so bad. That builds you in a way that it can't break.
It was a good one.
See, I forgot what I was saying.
So she'll cut paste it exactly.